Hey everyone, welcome back to Pretending with Dice. As always, I'm your host and game master, AJ. Well, all I can say is it feels great to finally be back with you all, back from hiatus. I think at this point we're pushing 5 months since the last episode, which was never part of the plan, especially not given that we essentially left you all with a 5-month cliffhanger for this, the final episode of Frontier Season 2. I can only apologise for this big gap in releases. We mentioned it in the little update thing I put out a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, I won't go into detail, but let's just say that real life stuff kept getting in the way over and over, which, you know, isn't great. But no matter, we're back now and excited to be here. Thank you all so much for sticking with us if you've been around for a while, and if you're new, welcome along. As I said, this is the final episode of Season 2 of Frontier. I can't wait for you all to see how the story shakes out and what the crew of the USS Tenzing got up to. Speaking for myself, Frontier has been one of my absolute favourite things to do in the entire run of the podcast, and I think it's pretty safe to say that we'll be back with Season 3 at some point. As for what comes next, though, in 2 weeks' time we're going to be having a kind of wrap-up cast discussion episode about Frontier Season 2 to give you all a little bit of a peek behind the curtain and whatnot. And then following that, later on in May, we're going to be kicking off our next big series. So following on from an incredibly fun one-shot that Eden ran for us a couple of years ago as part of our pilot season experiment, we're going to be doing a full series of the Fallout RPG, following the gang from Vault Theta who we met in that one-shot. We've been having so much fun recording this new series, and yeah, I seriously can't wait to share it all with you. But for now, though, I think we've all waited long enough. Let's jump into today's new episode, the finale of Season 2 of Frontier, Deliverance, Part 2. Enjoy.
Ray hasn't moved. He's just sort of staring off into the screen that had the display of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And he's looking a bit peeved.
Peeved?
Ray's only had 3 hosts.
Mm-hmm.
And he is Trill through and through. He carries himself a little bit more of a kind of a free spirit, in as much as he very much embraces other cultures, other walks of life kind of thing. He finds it fascinating, sort of thing to be curious about, things to sample. But occasionally when it comes to Trill history, Trill ideology, that sort of thing, when it comes to that being misused, it really annoys him. He's not devoutly religious in any kind of way, shape or form, but the idea that the crashed ship has essentially been, well, it's hidden underneath this golden palace, but he's essentially turned the crashed ship into a place of worship, and he finds that distasteful.
I don't think this is really like a religious worship. This is more just like a praise dear leader kind of worship more than anything else, and they just happen, that obviously...
Yeah,
a personality cult rather than an elaborate religion.
Yeah.
But it is the whole idea of the Golden Palace type thing. It's that kind of misappropriating ideology.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Your own means. Yeah, he doesn't like it. He doesn't like the idea that the Trill species has been kind of... I mean, no one else in the galaxy knows except for him and Rahl and Fel and Yul himself, but he finds it really distasteful that it's been he's been co-opted by this renegade. He just doesn't like it.
Okay, so while all these thoughts and things are being had, I think we ought to decide on like the composition of the away teams. I think we're pretty well settled on 2 teams, right? Who's on which team? What are you all thinking?
I definitely think we need to have Hymek and his team in helping like Lady Ral confront Mr. Yul.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe a few security / science people to do the shit stuff.
Okay.
Just because the Hymek's team have that speciality.
Yeah, I mean they are like a special forces team. Basically, you're putting like the real experts to be like, okay, you are the people I'm most I'm most sure will probably be able to take care of her. Basically, and their ground special ops team.
Yeah, along with Murphy there as well.
Okay, so that team would be then Murphy, Ireela, Ral. And then Hymek's team, is that what you're thinking?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
And then Rai can head up, if Rai wants to, head up the ship team.
Sounds like a plan.
But this is Rai going back on the planet again. It's up to you.
If Rai. Or Rai, you can pick Rai who you want for the ship team.
Yeah, no, Ray will go back down. If Lady Ra's going down, he kind of feels like he should go down as well.
She can't outdo me!
Damn straight.
Oh, it's so competitive.
She knows what she did. Yeah, right, so, ship team.
You've also got to provide backup to Murphy's team, so you'll have some security.
Johnny?
Mm-hmm.
A couple of the other security. Actually, just think about it.
You could take.
Can I take Bareka?
You can take Bareka with you if you want. Yeah.
Okay, so Johnny, Bareka, and probably, is it worth taking someone with us with engineering knowledge in case we have to hack our way through anything?
I mean, that's up to you. I'm not going to tell you who to take.
Yeah, you might need to like reroute some power systems to get consoles up and running or something, or doors.
Well, I mean, I've got plenty of options, but not taking chief engineer like you said.
No, not going to do that.
In terms of named engineers, we got, I mean, Bonj and Faria are both very new is my thing, but they're the ones that we've seen the most is the other annoying thing. Like, obviously they're naming you got double duty, but I say Bonj is good, but like this is the thing, like this is an important mission.
Very new.
He's very new.
Yeah, you want a seasoned engineer.
You got any war vets?
We did have actually who on the previous mission, the one to the planet with the outpost. You did have Lieutenant Kuyek, who is a Saurian, who came down on that one with you.
Oh yeah, who helped with the door.
Yeah.
We'll take Kuyek.
Okay. Yeah, they're quite capable. Okay, to summarize then, so we got Team 1 is Murphy, Ireela, Lady Ral, and Hymek and his team. That's maybe 2 or 3 other security guys. And Ray's team, Team 2, we've got Ray, Johnny, Bareka, Kuyek, and you wanted another couple of security guys with you for that, did you?
Yes.
Okay, so that's our 2 teams then.
When it comes to the guards that Yul has around him, I mean, we saw them wielding essentially bladed weapons. We saw them wielding bladed weapons.
Yeah.
But would there potentially be any kind of phaser type weaponry on board that ship that they may have for when they're walking around inside? Because when they're out of the public eye, they don't necessarily have to be wandering around wielding basic melee weapons. They might have energy weapons of some kind.
You don't know. However, I will say the ship left Trill in 2088, and energy weapons at that time, I think you would know this, like just from general history, were, if not like extremely rare, they were like not very advanced. So make of that what you will.
In either case, I imagine we're going to have the more superior weaponry on us if we need to defend ourselves anyway. So.
Yeah, I mean, you can just take phasers with you. I mean, it's like, yeah. If you want to, you can wear body armor and stuff. It's up to you.
I don't know. I think it's a bit body armor is a bit overkill.
Well, it's more like the kind of like flak jacket type things that they.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have thought to some extent, like we saw the guards that were guarding the palace and all of that, and if there was a show of force, then surely a use of technology would be like the thing to wow the crowd. So, like, if that didn't happen, then maybe we could lean on that a little bit. Like, it's probably just going to be these, like, fairly primitive weapons.
Unless...
Like, come to hand, but we'll see how we go.
Depends how suspicious Yul is. You might conceal your true firepower.
We'll see.
So that the outermost level might be enough to contain the general populace, but not particularly high level.
Yeah, like...
So that the highest level security is around you and you alone. But most people won't know about it, so it's a surprise.
Yeah, he could, like, have a shield.
Or like an energy shield type thing.
Yeah, like an energy shield kind of thing.
He sounds like exactly the sort of person to have a secret, hidden level of weapon.
Yeah.
Or at least a method of getting out of trouble.
Yeah.
The technology's held out.
He managed to escape before, so he's clearly slippery and difficult to deal with.
I will say as well, in the same vein as like energy weapons would have been in their infancy, I don't think the Trill had transporters at this time when the ship was stolen.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's useful.
The other thing that Eden just said, or Johnny, assuming that any technology he had is still functional after 300 years.
Yeah, that's true. It'd be very difficult for them to do any maintenance.
Would it be worth taking down some kind of dampening device just to make it difficult for him to use that kind of tech should he have it? But if they don't have transport tech at the time, then that's kind of superfluous.
I mean, the kind of nature of the mission though actually is that if it does go south, you can just beam out and fuck off and leave him. Like it's
true.
It's true. He clearly doesn't have a way of escaping.
Yeah.
Should we want to take him with us at any point? Let's have a brig ready for him.
Yes.
You do have a ship's brig. Yeah, you could put him in a cell.
Yeah.
Okay. So some time passes. You have enough time to do any amount of planning, discussions that you feel like before the captain returns to the room. Okay. Starfleet have begrudgingly given us the go-ahead for an extraction operation, with some conditions. First and foremost, we are to do our absolute best to avoid exposing ourselves and our technology to any members of the native species. Stealth is the name of the game here, people. Yul is, of course, an exemption to this, though. Starfleet agree his presence on the planet is something of an anomaly, and, well, given his obvious knowledge of the outside galaxy, other worlds, interstellar travel and such, he's not subject to our own prime directive. He's the problem here. That being said, they do also agree that he's so enmeshed in the local culture that full extraction might prove somewhat problematic. At this time, Lady Ral, you are authorized to confront him and try and get any information you can from him. At that point, we'll reassess how best to proceed. Starfleet is very concerned about the disruption that removing him might cause to the society. Very well.
How much force are we allowed to use, sir? Stun, or...
Defend yourselves, but try and keep it to stun if you can. We want to minimize our impact, remember, and a trail of bodies is not the best way of going about that.
Of course, sir.
Now, I am told the Trill government have taken a special interest in this operation, Lady Ral. They have confirmed the temporary reinstatement of your role as sanctioner and reiterated their request for Yul to be extradited back to Trill if possible. Lady Ral nods at this. However, our own priorities are still in place here. We are to avoid any adverse effects that our intervention might cause to the society as far as possible. Up to and including leaving Yul in power. Is that clear?
Crystal, Captain.
Good. Alright, so yes, we have the go-ahead. Murphy, how is your team coming together?
I think all parties have been informed, sir. We can be ready in half an hour, I think.
Same for Team 2, sir.
Excellent. Okay, well, make any final preparations you feel you need to, and let's do this. So yes, final preparations are made, personnel are assembled, equipment is gathered, and the two teams head to their respective transporter rooms. As is his way, the captain stops in to have a final word with the departing away teams before departure. And Ray, I think he joins your team first. Commander, I appreciate you agreeing to head back down there. I know the last few days have been a little rough for you and Commander Fell.
We have a mission to do, sir, and this one is kind of personal for me culturally, so I'm happy to see it through.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Take care of yourself, though. We don't want to lose our chief science officer, do we?
Don't worry, sir. You won't.
Good. So, your team preps on the pad, and the captain steps into the other transporter room where, Murphy, your team is, I think, a little bit all scrunched up on the transporter pad. There's a few more people on this team. A 7-person team here, a little bigger than we sometimes go. Yeah, you were all arrayed on the transporter pad, and the captain walks in. Alright, your team all prepped, Murphy?
Aye, sir.
Good. I have to ask one last time, Lady Rahl. Are you sure you're up for this? I think Lady Rahl has changed out of the usual sort of elegant gowns that you're accustomed to seeing her in into a more sort of practical set of standard tactical gear, over which she is wearing a long hooded coat. I think sort of like a trench coat with a hood, if that makes sense.
I am quite sure, Captain. This is something I must do.
Very well. I had to ask, you know. He turns to you, Murphy, and you, Ireela. Make sure you take care of the sanctioner, while you're down there. Rahl nods at this.
Thank you, Captain. I'm sure the commander and her team are most capable.
Well, that they are. All set, Murphy.
See you soon, sir.
Good luck. Okay, so your team steps onto the transporter pad, the captain joining the chief behind the console. The two transporter chiefs have, I think, been coordinating the deployment of the two teams for this mission. So, Ray, your team are also sort of assembled and waiting, ready to go in your own transporter room. And so the moment comes. The captain gives the signal. Energize. And in a dazzling display of glittering transporter beam energy, you all disappear once again from the Tenzing, headed for the surface. You find yourselves rematerializing in the shadow of a massive sandstone column. You are immediately aware that you're within a cavernous interior space, the column stretching up to a ceiling several stories above your heads. It is fairly dark in here. As far as you can see, artificial lighting is minimal, but bright sunlight is streaming through a large set of windows at one end of the chamber, on the other side of which you can quickly surmise is the balcony from which Lord Yul made his speech earlier in the day. Daylight is also coming in from above. Somewhere in the ceiling are skylights of some sort, although these are serving more to kind of let in a series of beams of light into the space, rather than fully lighting it up. There's definitely a lot of shadows in here, including, as I said, where you were able to beam in. Sneaking a glimpse around, you get a sense of the layout of the chamber. As I said, it's a very tall chamber. It's around 4 to 5 stories in height. In fact, the upper reaches of the chamber would be lost in shadow if not for the skylights. A series of these massive columns line a central space, at one end of which lies the balcony, and dominating the far end, a series of risers lift a titanic throne several feet above the main floor on a wide dais. The construction of the throne appears, even at this distance, I mean, you're quite a way up the chamber from it, it appears incredibly intricate, and on a scale commensurate with the status that it seems Lord Yul holds himself in. The throne is wide and tall, tapering down to the dais level from a height of several meters, almost like a sculpted tower of gold surrounding a central seat of power. Clearly designed to project this aura of control and power to be overwhelming and imposing to whoever is facing the occupant. At the moment, however, there is no occupant in the throne. Overall, the room, large and cavernous and almost like a cathedral as it is, it appears deserted, but for a single figure. Standing at a wide podium, facing towards the throne, so away from you, seemingly writing something, there appears to be a large number of papers of some sort in front of them on the podium, is a figure in very familiar looking robes, although now without the large ornate headdress and crown which they wore on the balcony. Engrossed in what they're working on, showing no signs of having heard your group beam in, or even that they're aware of any other presence in the chamber, Lord Yul stands with his back to you.
Murphy's gonna pull out her tricorder and have her phaser in the other hand, just to scan for any other guards or anything in the room. So they can pick up positions. But she's going to look to Lady Ral, because she's the one who wanted to confront and lead this.
Ral, I think, looks to you and quietly says, "Is that him, Commander?"
Murphy's going to nod.
Realising that Yul has not turned to face you at all, or seemingly realise that you're there, sort of takes a second, draws herself up to full height, gives you a nod, begins to step forward towards him. Before we go any further, if you're scanning for other life forms, can I get a reason science check from you? Difficulty 2. You're looking for 11 or under on this.
Ooh, 16 and 12.
2 failures, I'm afraid. So, no, not catastrophic, you just didn't get what you needed. Tough to tell. Big room, a lot of places people could hiding. The tricorder is throwing up anomalous readings. You're not getting a yes or a no on that.
It's the gold. It's the
gold. All the gold patterns. It's really.
We do have momentum. We do have a point of momentum.
1 point of momentum, however, you had to declare that before the roll, I'm afraid.
Oh.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah.
We've got a Hymex team as well that's probably doing a...
Yeah.
They're probably doing like a circling.
They have spread out a little bit and are, they're kind of... not like hiding behind the pillars, positions. But they've deployed and have taken up sort of defensive positions around the three of you in the center. They're checking, looking into shadows and things, very quietly and silently, just almost like fading away.
Also, we also don't want to spook him either, I think.
Mm-hmm. Can actually, speaking of which, can Ireela sense that there's been any change in his emotions since we arrived that would indicate whether he's noticed us?
Oh, that's a good question.
Ooh, yes.
I think I need an insight security from you for this one. I think difficulty 1, because this is you definitely, he's not like shielded from you emotion wise or anything. Oh, 2 successes. So there's another point of momentum.
Yay! Good timing.
Now we're at 2.
2 now.
Yeah. Wow. You're not picking up that he's realised you're there. I mean, it seemingly engrossed in what he was doing. There is noise coming, audible from outside. Not super loud, but the festivities can still kind of be heard, I think. So it's possible the beam down noise kind of got hidden in that, and since you've dropped down, other than the very quiet, like, is that him kind of comments, you've gone kind of stealth tactical here and just sort of, he doesn't appear to have noticed you, though.
Excellent.
So Lady Ral takes a step towards him. "Greetings, Lord Yul," she calls out. Immediately shocked, turns in, you pick up this like sudden adrenaline surge of emotion of like, what the fuck? Kind of like feeling. So now he's
Oh, he knows now.
Yeah.
It's been quite some time, has it not?
You feel an explosion of anger as he spins to face her. Who dares to invade my chambers? You see him looking from side to side as if contemplating whether to immediately call guards or not.
So soon you'll forget us.
Lady Ral steps forward into a beam of light shining down from above, dropping the hood on her coat as she does, revealing her full Trill spots and everything. Slight smile on her face as she does so.
276 years you managed to evade justice, but no longer. You shall answer for your crimes against the Trill people, at long last.
I think, Ireela, what you're getting from him alongside the initial anger and, I will say, a rising sense of panic, is mostly confusion at Lady Ral's words, almost like he doesn't really know what she's talking about. He stares at her for a second, and I think you see his darting eyes also take in the still shaded figures of you two, Murphy and Ireela, before focusing back on Ral again. What is this? Who are you?
Really? The years have not been so long as all that, have they?
Lady Ral, his confusion seems genuine.
Murphy, can I get another reason science check from you?
Yep. 1.
A 1. Okay, that's a crit. You are not detecting a Trill symbiont within him.
Oh.
Or indeed, Trill biology of any kind. He is reading as one of the planet's native inhabitants. He looks Trill. His facial features and spots and everything. That's not what the tricorder's saying.
Doc, if I'm reading this correctly, this person isn't a Trill at all. Murphy's just going to look between the Doc and Lady Ral. There's no symbiote.
Ral pauses, looking back over her shoulder at the two of you, listening to what you're saying. She shakes her head and takes one more step towards Yul.
No, that can't be true. This is him. This must be him.
As she advances one more step towards him, Yul actually takes a step backwards, almost leaning up against the podium. Ireela, your empathic abilities are almost overwhelmed by the most intense wave of panic from him that you've ever felt, as Lady Ral just stares at him, haloed by the shaft of daylight coming from above. In your peripheral vision, Murphy, in the shadow of another column, unseen by Yul, you noticed Hymek raise his phaser rifle to provide covering fire, if needed. Yul's knuckles are white as he grips the writing instrument still in his hand from before you revealed yourselves. The sweat is beading on his forehead, and for a moment, there is nothing but silence, and you're unsure what he might do. With a clatter, he drops to his knees, prostrating himself before Lady Ral. Please, my lady, I meant nothing by it, please. Be merciful. Ray, your team beams into a dimly lit corridor. The lighting here is artificial. You see it's mostly dim because this is a lot of bulbs that have blown, a lot of lighting panels are not working properly. The air in here does feel recycled. It feels like this is separate from the outside at least. But you find yourselves in a corridor with what looks to be kind of like a large airlock door at one end, and partway along on either side there are internal looking doors, sort of double door type things, but less heavy than the full airlock.
Phaser in one hand, tricorder in the other, scanning the environment.
Okay.
And Ray just sort of, as soon as he beams in, starts coughing. Yep. Definitely a 300-year-old ship. Okay.
Johnny, can I get a reason science check from you then if you're doing a tricorder scan?
Okay.
Difficulty 2, I think, yeah. 14 and 7?
One success.
Okay, 1 success. You're not picking up much in the way of life form readings down here. You're getting some from above, which you would... I mean, you were in the briefing, you know that this is built... But this is below the construction of the palace. So, arguably that could be from the palace above. There's not a lot in the way down here, but not nothing. But the tricorder is having trouble resolving.
Okay. I'll just call out to the team, say, I'm getting very unsteady readings down here. I don't know what the material is, or if there's some kind of natural phenomenon, but we're going to have to keep our eyes open.
Understood, Ensign.
The corridor, I would say, it is sloping downwards away from the airlock door, kind of in line with your scans of the ship being sort of a wreck, not like a full wreck, but like it's on the surface and it's not like flat on the surface, it's kind of crash landed.
It's still, it's at a tilt.
Yeah, it's on a tilt, and the tilt is leading downwards.
Okay, remain alert and keep in mind the gradient of the corridors as we go.
It's not, sorry, I would say, it's not like a dangerous, like if you trip you're going to fall. It's just like a slight downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old floors can be slippery.
Yeah. I'm just saying, it's not like a slide. It's like, it's just like, it's a light gradient.
Right. I'm weighing out whether we check this out, look at this airlock briefly before we carry on down and look, checking the other doors.
You can do. Give it once over if you want.
Yeah, we'll do that. Ensign Conought, check out that airlock.
Aye, sir. I'll head over, and what kind of door are we looking at here?
I mean, it's a design that's not 100% familiar to you, but there's certain things that are kind of fairly standard when it comes to things. I think after a little bit of looking, maybe 20, 30 seconds of looking over, you're pretty confident this is an external airlock door, like which would have been on the outside of the ship.
Okay. Is there a fail-safe relief?
Yeah, there are controls there. They're not really lit up, but there is a standby light on.
Okay.
They're still getting power from somewhere.
I'll try and interact with that and try and get this door open.
Okay. It takes a few seconds, but the doors eventually crack open in the middle. Revealing a dark set of sandstone steps leading upwards. You think this would lead up to the palace.
Okay.
Okay. Let's make a note of that in case we need to use it. But let's have a quick check of the other doors here first. Teth, Bareka, you take the left. Draper, Johnny, you're with me on the right. Let's see what we've got.
You're able to open these doors quite easily, I think. They're not locked in any way, but they are sort of internal starship doors that have been closed, but you feel like not properly engaged. They've just been kind of pulled closed. You can see metal handles have been welded to the outside of them. Not like crudely sort of done, just bits of metal. These are, these do look like worked, kind of like nicely crafted handles. However, they are quite clearly a later addition to these doors, but they do mean you're able to crack them open by hand and go in.
Interesting addition. Manual handles to get the doors open. What can we see when we look through the doors?
So when you first open them, it is a dark chamber beyond. The floor is kind of metal grating and that, but you can see it has been covered in some places by slabs of, again, more of this local stone. You get the feeling like it went through like phases of like, maybe we'll upgrade this, or maybe it was just like, well, we need to fill a hole kind of thing. There's no sort of pattern to it really. It's very dark in here to begin with. As you step in, ancient lighting systems do start to warm up and come to life. Not fully. There's definitely some lighting panels that are out here. As they come up, you find yourself surrounded by what looks to be sarcophaguses.
Oh, wow.
Are they open?
They are all sealed. They're various materials. There's some nearer the doors look to be constructed of what looks like out-of-ship materials. Almost kind of just makeshift coffins kind of thing.
Yeah, built from scratch, whatever was available.
But very soon, as you step inside, they become more ornate and are taking up more room, and the further in you go, you begin to see that the room is arrayed around one sort of dominating the room. Again, it's the most grand, and it's on a sort of it's on a plinth. Again, not as ornate as the plinth in the I get a lot of plinths in this series. Not as ornate as the one in the throne sits on upstairs. However, this has clearly been specially prepared and is, given a place of prominence again, even over all the rest of these in here. As you examine this particular sarcophagus, other than the general kind of ornateness and seeming, place of prominence in the room that it has, there is one other difference between it and the others. It appears to have a bundle of cables and pipes going into it.
I've heard of upgrading, but this is ridiculous. Ray's going to pull out his tricorder.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give it a scan to see if I can come up with anything useful.
Sure. Can I get a reason science check from you? Difficulty 2.
Certainly. 4 and a 2.
4 and a 2. Okay, that's your 2 successes. I think it's impossible to be 100% sure without opening the sarcophagus. But what you detect is that technology within is powered and running. There is a rather large power capacitor component to it, and you think, or at least the tricorder, its analysis thinks that there may be cryogenic systems involved.
Are they keeping something alive in there?
Quite possibly. The tricorder's picking up... Well, based on what it's telling me, this is some kind of cryogenic feeding system.
The outside of this sarcophagus is very highly adorned. It's carvings and kind of like hieroglyphic writing that you've seen definitely in the local area, especially around like statues of Yul and things like that. Whether that's like personal heraldry or whatever, but this, it's reminiscent of that. I will give you that for free, having just spent 2 days on the planet in the city.
And Ray sort of takes a walk around to the other side, and then he starts looking up through the top of the thing. Can he see if there is a way to view into it without opening it? Is it completely like solidly closed over?
There is a stone lid on it.
It's a stone lid. By this point, have Bereka and Teth joined us?
Yes, I think at this point you turn around as they enter the room to join you. Bereka steps forward.
Commander, there are more of these coffins in the other chamber.
More sarcophagus?
Yes, Commander.
Are they similar to these ones, getting more ornate as they go along?
She looks around, gestures to the one you're kind of looking at.
None as ornate as this one, but all well decorated.
Okay. Bereka, will you come and give me a hand with this?
Yes, Commander.
And Ray is hinting at trying to... They're going to attempt to slide the lid of this sarcophagus open.
Okay. For the first time, I'm going to need a fitness security check from you.
Oh, wow.
It's a heavy piece of stone. I'm going to need a fitness check from you.
No, that's fair enough. It's the first time I've ever rolled for it.
And you lift it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping the Klingon is going to help in that regard, but let's see what happens. Here we go. Oh, a 10 and a 3.
Believe it or not, you got 1 success there.
Oh,
You
nice.
very nearly got 2. I think,
What did I need? A 9?
You needed 9 or under. I think actually, I'm going to call that a success because you had help from Bereka. We're more using that as like to change.
I thought I had.
Bereka helping changed the difficulty from 2 to 1, I think. on
Okay,
that.
because Klingons are naturally stronger than most other humanoid life
Well,
forms.
not so much that, so much
She
as like...
probably felt sorry for you as well.
I mean, that's just generally like how helping works in the game. You don't both roll. It's like if we have somebody helping it reduces difficulty, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So between the two of you, you manage to awkwardly move aside this top cover. Within, you see that the outer stone sarcophagus is but a shell surrounding a piece of technology. A pod. Roughly coffin-sized itself, but made of metal, finely produced, clearly of a technology level you've not really seen in the surrounding city during your time here, so perhaps a remnant of this original starship. The cables pass through the stone shell and into this pod, and there are several status lights shining on a small control panel. Your eye is immediately drawn, however, to the slightly frosted viewing port on the upper side, allowing you a view within the pod. A view that reveals the gnarled form of an elderly-looking Trill, eyes closed, in repose.
Oh. Can Ray sense that this is actually a Trill?
I mean, it's got spots and everything. I mean, there's no sense you're not, like, psychic. You can do a scan if you want.
Yeah, I'll do a tricorder scan. Confirm confirm the biosignature.
This is definitely a Trill. A dead Trill, as well. But your tricorder confirms this is a stasis unit that is definitely running.
But not doing much for the occupant.
Not doing much for the occupant, no. Your tricorder, though, does beep. Secondary life signs detected.
The symbiont.
Very weak signal. Very, very weak. You think you're detecting it.
So the host is dead, but the machinery is keeping the symbiont alive, barely.
That seems to be the case, yes. This is, without a doubt, a dead host within this stasis chamber. Your tricorder is advanced enough to detect that. The stasis chamber is keeping the symbiote, it seems, in a state of suspended animation. Still within the host body, seemingly close to death itself. Above, in the throne room, the robed figure who, until now, you were led to believe was Lord Yul, is on his knees, in full submission before Lady Ral, averting his gaze and sputtering as he seems to have gone into full emotional collapse. Please, my lady, I meant no offence. I did not understand. I did not wish to displease the lords. Please show mercy.
Ireela's going to step forward because Lady Ral is fairly shocked.
Yes.
And this poor man is having a complete breakdown.
Yeah.
Step forward, step slightly in front of the ambassador. Kind of crouch down and look at him. You are not in trouble for impersonating. But can you tell us why you need to impersonate?
He's sort of quite wide-eyed. He was staring, like, he was almost like torn between averting his gaze from, like, Lady Ral, in a sort of incredibly deferent sort of, like, way, and then, but also, like, having a breakdown. And he's sort of wide-eyed, and he just sort of he looks at you. I didn't know what to do. There was no one else, no one else close enough. The Lord, he was meant to change his face as always. He didn't change. He just died.
How long ago was that?
Nearly 40 cycles. It's been so long.
I see. Then I turn and look to Lady Ral. It appears we will not be able to bring Yul to justice.
Yes. It appears so, doesn't it? Damn it.
Yul it's just kind of babbling at this point. He's still incredibly confused. There's tears running down his face.
I did my best to lead. I did not have the Lord's foresight. I did not have his will. I did the best that I could.
Lt Murphy, come in.
Murphy here.
We found a couple of tombs, is the best way to put it. Multiple sarcophagus. And there's one being powered by cryogenic tech. I think we've actually got Lord Yul here. Very much dead. But maybe the symbiont is still alive.
The Lord Yul in the chamber, hearing, he's clearly not understanding everything you're saying, but he hears the word life reading. Says,
No, my lord was dead. He left instructions to be placed within the catacombs, within his sarcophagus. He was dead. I did as I was instructed.
That's what I'm looking at, Murphy. A very grand ornate sarcophagus.
Stasis chamber?
I think that was the intention, but the bio readings from the tricorders suggest that the host is long dead. To be fair, he looks long dead. But I am picking up very faint life readings. Maybe the symbiont is still viable for revival. At this point, I'm willing to bet that this is Lord Yul here in the sarcophagus chamber.
Doc, do you want to beam down?
Yes, I think so. Lady Ral, will you come with me, please?
Yes, of course. The symbiote is alive. We must secure it. We can, leave this one on his throne. Try and salvage something of this whole mess. Lead the way.
Yes.
Yul is looking up at you, confused.
What is happening? Am I to be punished?
Murphy's gonna gesture to like a step or something and just like take a seat. We're gonna have a chat. Murphy's gonna try and give them democracy 101.
Just give him a couple of tips, like
Yeah, let's have elections and freedom of speech. At least representation.
Okay. I think actually, well, here's the thing. So we will follow Ireela and Ral down to the next bit, but I think we can say, Murphy, over the course of a conversation, which I think, like you say, you start with an idea of like, let's just give him a quiet talking to about not murdering so many people.
Yeah.
I think what you, through his, like, because he's fully broken, he's just like, I was trying my best. Like, I think what you actually managed to get out of him over the course of this conversation, and I won't make you roll for this because he's, like, say, he's fully broken. He was the Chamberlain of the previous, and final Lord Yul, and was shocked to discover that it turns out Lord Yul was not just changing his face and moving to a new incarnation. He was passing the symbiote to the only other Trills remaining. And there were no more remaining. This guy panicked and basically, was the only one possibly in a position to have faked it as the Chamberlain. And he really has been trying his best. He's kind of babbling as you're talking, like, none of you saw it really because you've only arrived now, but this guy has instituted quite a lot of improvements to the lives of people.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you got a glimpse of that in the the talk of like, oh, there was more last time being killed, but what you didn't realize was that wasn't a yearly festival. That was like every 10 years or so that was happening. So he really has been doing his best to like be like, let's kill less people and let's try and actually have industry and improve people's lives and things. He's still obviously ruling from a giant golden palace in absolute luxury while they're, people are working incredibly hard and worshipping him like a, infallible ruler. So look, he's not all good. However, these democracy tips might be the next little nudge he needs. But yeah.
It's the extra guidance he needed. Yeah, it's the extra guidance he needed that he didn't get from the real Yul.
Yeah.
This is book 2.
But he has essentially been living in panicked fear that one, that people would find out, and two, that essentially exactly this is going to happen, that a Trill is going to reappear and be like, what do you think you're doing pretending to be one of us, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Looking for another god
to
find him out.
Yes.
And trying to gradually improve things while not catching the attention of one of those gods.
Yeah.
By completely changing everything dramatically.
Lady Ryle popping in front of him and being like, hey, yo, I'm here to... I
am here to render judgment.
Yeah,
oh, shit.
Was essentially exact worst nightmare just happened.
Yeah.
And you are incredibly lucky during this conversation. I think High Mech and his team kind of stay with you. You're lucky. Nobody really comes in during this conversation. You're able to kind of calm him down and give him some look, just try not to, just try a little harder to make things better and try less killing people, which I would argue maybe Murphy is the only one breaking the Prime Directive here, by telling him what to do, but never mind.
She's offering advice.
Yeah,
she's not telling him what to do.
Yeah. His talk in the speech wasn't just empty things. He really did have some ideas about leading people into the future. He was trying to wind down the whole awful state violence, tyranny kind of thing, but he just didn't really know the best way to go about it, sort of thing.
I have a question.
Sure.
If it's been roughly 36 years since the original Lord Yul died, and this guy's been running the show for that amount of time, how much of the development to get to the society to where it is now? I mean, what was the analog we had? Early 20th century Earth?
Mm-hmm.
Was that? Yeah. So how much of that improvement and change to society was Lord Yul, and how much of it has been this new guy?
I mean,
trying to change the way things are and make things better.
It's tough to tell. I mean, this is, like I say, this is in the bounds of the conversation that Murphy's having with a guy who's trying to keep it together, kind of thing. And I think probably not the longest conversation either, really, because you are cognizant of we can't be hanging around here forever.
Yeah.
You get the idea, I think, though, that maybe there have been some quite significant steps in the last 36 years. You'd seen a couple of motor vehicles and things, and industry being built up outside the city walls and things like that. Yeah. That, to me, I think that's probably within this guy's reign. He's, I think when the symbiote Yul was ruling, he was perfectly happy for people to be living as peasants and serfs and things with no progression. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So now with him gone and this guy in, there's a bit less of that kind of social divide.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. The divide's still there because he's pretending to be Yul, but certain things have been allowed to progress where previously
it does sound like it's more of an expansion to access than just suddenly releasing all of the tech possibilities.
Yeah.
That the real Yul could have given people and just didn't.
Yeah.
It's slowly diffusing it out.
Which might be the better way to do it. I don't know, but
if you change things really rapidly, it tends to lead to chaos.
Yeah.
And more people end up getting killed.
So maybe that's something to let him make sure he knows about as well.
So,
Yeah, baby steps.
Okay. But all that being said then, as Murphy is having this fairly long conversation with Yul, we don't really have a different name for him, a quick site-to-site transport is facilitated, and Ireela and Lady Ral are moved down to the catacombs to join Team 2. Ireela, you are, as you step up to see what they found, you can see what appears to definitely be a stasis pod, quite a fairly primitive one, but one that does appear to still be functioning, housed within a stone sarcophagus. Like literally, he had the sarcophagus built around this stasis pod. By the looks of things, his final instructions were, in case of my death, very quickly get me in this pod, please.
I mean, it's as good a plan as any once it's at that point.
Yeah. Ral is looking down at the form of the final host of Lord Yul through the viewing port. Well, this gives us an opportunity to salvage something of this situation. We can extract the symbiote. We can at least return it to Trill to face some kind of justice.
Before we do anything, I think Chief Medical Officer and her staff should analyse this technology. At this point, just beaming this setup onto the Tenzing might kill the symbiont. The life signs are very weak. We need to do our best to preserve this technology that's keeping him alive.
I would say this just is a very old Trill design of stasis pod. I mean, you have stasis pods, but modern ones aboard the Tenzing in the medical bay.
We do. Yeah, I can imagine that. However, how long could the symbiont in its current state last if we switch this one off to move it to another one? That's kind of where Ray's thinking from. Like, if we turn this off, how long has that thing got realistically before it's dead?
Not a huge amount of time, but I mean, you're just putting a corpse from one box into another box.
So could we teleport the stasis unit directly to sickbay and then just quickly move them over?
Yeah, that's an idea. I think just in terms of like making sure it's done properly, I probably would need a check from you.
That feels very clumsy.
Yeah. I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility to just fully transport the body out of this stasis, but like turn this pod off here, and as soon as it's off, transport the body directly to a pod on the Tenzing.
Yeah. That has to be something that we'd be capable of.
Yeah.
We just come out of a massive war and had to evacuate the injured. We have to be capable of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the procedure would be you couldn't beam them out until this is off, because the technology is sort of working. You would have to turn it off so that then it's just there, then beam it from where it is into a waiting Starfleet stasis, modern 24th century pod. But yes, that would totally be doable. I think in the war you probably had to put people into medical stasis, just for transport to more specialized facilities. That's definitely would have been something you would have done. And yeah, having to do it from battlefields and things is totally something you've had to do before, being like one to beam up into status and things like that. Yeah, definitely a thing. I would say that between Ral and Lieutenant Kwiek, who you brought with you, who are checking it over, this is very much isn't a stasis pod that was built here. This is one that was on the ship when it was stolen from Trill 300 odd years ago. You're very lucky that it's still running, and maybe how much time it has left to be running. This is old tech that is just being kept in a basement by a bunch of people who don't know anything about it and don't have the technological know-how to maintain it. Getting it to getting the occupant to a new pod I would recommend it. So with this operation in mind, then I think just in terms of like coordinating it and that everything, because you need to basically turn it off and be coordinated to be like, and very quickly beam it up. I think this would be more of a medical procedure for you, Ireela, rather than like an engineering check or anything like that. Like, how to turn this thing off.
Ireela's probably much more concerned about the strength of the symbiont going through teleportation.
Yes. Yeah.
than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I think the coordinating it to use the kind of medical. I mean, there's not really any difference between the regular transporter and a medical transporter, but like using the sort of emergency medical transport, I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit more finessed. I don't know, in terms of keeping people. But then why wouldn't that just be the standard? I don't know. Who knows? Either way,
I think the biggest stress for this is on the people doing the teleporting rather than like necessarily any of us that are currently here.
Well, that being said, then we probably still ought to do a roll just to make sure this goes off correctly.
Yeah, that's fine. What would the difficulty be? Because I'm going to suggest that this might be when we use momentum.
That is a good call.
Yeah.
Because if we can keep the symbiont alive, this is kind of the perfect outcome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So this is a control engineering check. Difficulty 1 because you're not on a transporter pad. Can be assisted by the ship's sensors and science. So already we're getting an extra dice from the ship. So we're looking at 3 already. And however we want to spend momentum, I guess. So somebody, I guess, can have somebody coordinate whoever. I will let this, as we're kind of like, this is a sort of a little bit of a culmination moment of the whole team doing. Everybody was down on this mission, weren't they? So whoever wants to be coordinating, whoever, I'll leave it up to you. Whoever's got the highest control engineering wants to take it. So for Murphy, that would be 12. For Johnny, that would be 10. Ireela, that would be 11. Ray, that would be 15.
Ray.
So probably Ray. Yeah.
Ray seems to be the sensible one as well.
Yeah. Then if somebody else wants to roll one dice for the ship sensors plus science, you're looking for 16 or under. So this is the point where I say, how many dice do you want to buy?
Well, we could only buy 1.
Yeah.
Because it then costs 3 to buy a second one, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we could only buy one.
Okay.
And we've got
2 momentum.
Yeah.
So we could only buy 1 extra with momentum.
Yeah.
So that would be us up to 4 dice in total.
That would. It would be 3 from Ray doing his control engineering check, and then there's still only. Oh, hang on. This is the thing. Is it 1 for the ship?
So Ray's 2, the ship, and then 1 from momentum. Yeah.
Ray's standard 2, 1 from momentum brings it to 3.
Yep.
Normally it would be 1 from the ship. However, I've just remembered yet again we have advanced sensor suites, and this is a roll uses sensors plus science, so it's 2 from the ship. So this is 5 dice, and you need 1 success on any one of these dice.
I think we're quite
No, don't get cocky about it. Don't get cocky. This could still go be bad.
I think we should still use the 1 from momentum.
I think it's a good idea.
Because
it's what it's for.
Yeah. Also,
Why not?
We've still got 1 as well.
Yeah.
We've still got 1, so we've still got another 1 for an extra roll.
Yeah. Let's not risk a cock up here.
Yeah.
Okay.
This would be a bad time to screw up.
Be a bad day to murder a Trill.
Famous last words.
Okay, I'll roll for the ship.
Okay.
Then.
Okay. We'll do yours first then. So we need.
Hang on, Murphy. Are you saying there's a good day to murder a Trill? What are you saying, Murphy?
Is there a good day to let a war criminal traitor die?
That's a better phrasing. Thank you, Doctor.
Let's. Do you want to do the ship one first, and then Ray's one? And then
sure.
We can phrase that as like the ship engages it, and Ray is like coordinating. Okay, so you were actually aiming. There's a sensor science. You were aiming for 16 or under, so we already have 2 successes. Let's roll Ray's anyway, because we need to actually do the check.
Yep.
So
here we go.
You got 3 here. You're aiming for 15 or under on them.
Oh, 15 and 16.
Okay, and you get one. You get 1 more as well, but like.
Yeah, I'll roll the extra 1.
6.
6.
So we only failed on 1 out of the 5 dice there.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Pretty darn good.
So.
I mean, that does that give momentum back?
It does. You get 3 points of momentum for that.
So now we have 4.
Because...
And here's the other thing as well. You actually get 4 points of momentum because of the ship's other talent here, high-resolution sensors. Any successful roll assisted by the ship sensors outside of combat gains an additional point of momentum. So now we're at 5 momentum.
5 momentum. Nice.
Because Ireela would quite like to see if she can further treat and stabilize the symbiont.
How many dice would you like?
That would be, I think that would be something to do on the ship.
Yes, yeah.
That we
once we get them up there, it's just a...
This was beaming them from the stasis pod up to a waiting stasis pod in the med bay. And I think there's a pause of a second as you're all kind of waiting on bated breath to see what happens, and you get word down from sickbay.
Transport successful, Doctor. Subject received and stasis pod activated. All signs nominal.
Excellent, thank you. The Doctor just reflects to herself that was a little more stressful than I've been used to recently.
You should go on more away missions. They can certainly get more stressful.
More stressful than having on-the-run war criminal potentially die on my watch.
Yeah?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, come down with us more often. You'll soon see.
The look that Ireela gives him at that moment.
I can imagine Murphy, if she was there, be chuckling to herself. It's like, haha, it's not me giving you the look this time.
So Johnny's looking over from the side with a raised eyebrow. It's like, again, officers in these intense moments.
So, I think with the successful extraction of the Yul symbiote and the decision made to leave the faux Yul in place, the away teams return to the USS Tenzing, high in orbit above the planet. Not lingering for too long, I think. Perhaps long enough to gather a little bit more data. Report in on the mission to Starfleet and mark the planet for further study at a later date. But for now, leaving the people of Golden Palace behind, outward bound towards wherever their next adventure might take them, on this, the newest of frontiers. That's going to do it for this episode, and indeed for Season 2 of Frontier. We really hope you've enjoyed listening to it as much as we've had playing it. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time with our cast discussion episode about the whole season, and we really hope you'll join us with that. In the meantime, you can head to pretendingwithdice.com. There's links to all of our online presences, including our Discord server, Ko-Fi page, merch store, and much, much more. So yeah, for now, that's our show. We hope you all enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.